perfectionism can be a great enemy of us and a great barrier to us to accomplish the callings of God in our life. You see, perfectionism is often the greatest enemy of getting things done. Because we look at this project that the Father has put on our hand. We look at this calling. We look at this idea. We look at whatever the Father has called us. We are all created in His image. We are all created with creativity, and we possess that same creativity and desire to create other things. And we ought to create things, whether that is whatever kind of job or whatever kind of thing it is the Father has called you to. In that thing, it can be a primary career thing, it can be something on the side that the Father has called you to. And whatever that is, whatever that idea, that dream is, it may never get done. And you may never even start in fear of failure, or in fear of it never being good enough, in fear of it not being perfect. You see, brothers and sisters, as in the creative process, when we create things, when we do things, we will continuously be faced with the reality that things won't always be perfect. You can take the best movie, you can take the best story, you can take the best athlete, you can take the best anything, music, a musical album, all right, anything that people have created. And if you dig deep, if you under a microscope look at even the best of things that people have created, you will find faults. You will find mistakes. You will find things that can be improved upon. And yes, there is one thing that can be better than another thing, but everything is imperfect. But oftentimes there is even beauty in that imperfection because it is human, right? You see, brothers and sisters, God doesn't require of us to be perfect. Yes, He did say, be perfect as I am perfect. But in context, He's not talking about us being like perfect robots, doing things perfectly in that way. He is referring to righteousness. He says, be holy as I am holy. Be perfect as I am. That it refers to how we ought to walk in righteousness, walk in accordance to the ways He has told us to walk. He's not talking about doing things perfectly. Because see, brothers and sisters, can I just be honest for a second here? If every video I put out every week needs to be perfect, I will never put out anything. Because I will, in the editing process, when I'm looking at I'm editing, I'm looking at myself and I'm listening to what I have recorded, I will hear something that's not perfectly said, even if it's true, right? It's totally true, it's accurate, it's, I agree with what I said, but if I want the way I said it to have perfect grammar, perfect language, perfect communication, perfect everything, then I will never put out anything, because nothing will be able to satisfy that perfect standard I have set. And so what I have found, just personally learned, is that in the imperfections, as long as we're doing what is true and right and perfect in that way, perfect in terms of it is right, it is true, it is for the glory of God, if it is perfect in that way, the other imperfections that the human nature brings does not matter. It is okay to make mistakes, and then we learn from them and we move on and we get better. But you never get better if you never do anything because you're afraid of failing. It is by our doing of things that we actually practice in the midst of doing. That is why they often say that if you want to learn something really well, go and teach it. Because if you teach it, you will be learning it better than anyone else who's just learning it for the sake of learning it. Right? And so in the same way, when we do things, In the midst of doing them, we learn and we become better at what we're doing. And then next time we're better and we're better and we get better. And so, brothers and sisters, I'm putting this out. This is a different kind of video, but I'm putting this out because I believe that the Father is saying there are as many of you who have received dreams, ideas, desires, things that are from God, who's called you to do these things for His glory, not your own, His glory. But you're stepping back and you're not stepping and doing it because you're afraid of imperfection. Or maybe you've tried doing it, but it wasn't up to standard, it wasn't perfect, so you never put it out there. But it's in the midst of doing and putting it out and continuously going on and doing it more and more and more, that is the process in wherein you get better. Any kind of skill that the God has given you, He's given you a little mustard seed of a skill and a talent, but you need to go and work on it. You need to develop that. That means not just once or twice, that means a continuous process, oftentimes over years or even a lifetime of developing and getting better. And that is how people get good at the talents that the Father has given them and using those talents to their full potential, because they're actually doing it despite sometimes, or even oftentimes, being imperfect. Stop procrastinating and sitting on that idea, that thing that's in your heart. Stop wasting your time. Stop being lazy. Those are not of God. Those things are things that you need to put aside. Get up and work and put your talent to the work and let it give God the glory, because that's why you have it. Every single talent that we have, it's not just a coincidence. It didn't just fall into our lap out of nowhere, out of the sky. No, every talent, every gift, every strength we have is from God. And it is only in the development and the exercising thereof that we can use it to its full potential. And brothers and sisters, here's the thing. The talents that we have received, right, whatever that is for you, it is to plug into your calling so you can reach more people with the glory and the kingdom of God. So the kingdom of God can go further. And if you waste your talents, if you do not develop them, if you do not exercise them, even because you were afraid, you will be like the man who Yeshua told the parable about. He said there is a man who he gave talents to, and he buried it in the ground because he was afraid. He had fear of imperfection, of what if it doesn't, if I don't use it well enough, it doesn't have enough fruit. What if it doesn't look pretty enough? What if this? Fear of mistakes, fear of whatever. And he was so afraid that he buried it, and he didn't want to use it at all. He completely tried to forget about it. God says to that man, you go. You I will not use. You will not receive any more talents. But the one who received the very little bit of talent, but developed it, God came and He said, well done, good and faithful servant. I have entrusted you for little. Now here is more. And God gives him more talents on top of what he's received. And now he has more to use for the kingdom of God than the one who received maybe even more from the get-go, but who never used it in the first place. So brothers and sisters, it is important. This is an important matter. Laziness is not of God. Procrastination is not of God. And the sooner you get up and start running, the sooner you'll start seeing the Father pour more talents on your life. And then you will see your personal ministry, whatever that looks like, grow into something great that is effective for the kingdom. And you will be able to one day stand before God and be happy with the life, the shot you had proclaiming the gospel. Because see, brothers and sisters, you have one chance at building His kingdom today. We will never again, when you die and we pass into the next life, you will never again have the same kind of opportunity that we have in this life to reach people who have never heard of Him before, to reach people who have never heard of the true character of God before. Because everyone will know Him. No one will try and teach his neighbor about God, because everyone will know about Him in the next season, the next age that is to come. So brothers and sisters, Don't be sorry. As for me and my house, like, I don't want to waste this life. I don't want to be sorry one day. That means all the talents I have, man, I want to run with them for His glory, and then I won't be sorry. And I won't let a fear of imperfectionism or a fear of failure keep me in bondage to accomplish what He has called me to do. Instead, I will break free and I will allow Him to work through me. Will you do the same? I ask you to run and let Him. I hope that this short teaching has blessed you. If this has blessed you, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel for more videos like this one, liking this video, and sharing it with your friends. And so we can reach more with this kingdom of God. And so this kingdom of God can grow. Thank you for watching. Shalom.